Okay, this is recording number 2, January 19th, 2024, this afternoon, 2:26 p.m. So as I was reviewing the first video of the day, when you would stop and close your eyes and say, I have a question, you'll note that the light behind you actually expands up. It's almost as if you're stopping when they want to say something and it's coming through you. I don't think your questions are your questions. It's coming from them for us to ask so we get clarity.
Well, I totally agree with that because otherwise it's that intuition of where does that come from, but this is what you need to ask. Like,
Mhm.
like when I decided to not keep driving on the road I was on and say, oh, what is that over there? I'll drive over there. And I came back and a card flipped off.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it could have been you that
Yep.
hit. Yeah. Yeah, there goes the flight flash. All right, so let's find out who's flashing that light. Dad, can you give us a name of the person flashing the light behind Susie? Because Dad's here. I only have Dad in our bubble space, our God bubble. All right, Dad, go ahead and give me the name. Who is the one responsible for flashing the light behind Susie right now? Of course. It went right to H. Is it Hester? It's Hester because she knows how to move. She can move that light. She's been doing this. She's been earthbound. She's been trying to get people's attention. Somebody listen to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's just so anxious to convey the story. She knows a lot more. She has a lot more details to give us. And we got Dad here. So what?
I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I have to
She
ask.
wants to, yeah, she's wanting to talk to you. So my point.
Does she want to talk about her parents?
What do you get? See, I'm
No,
not getting her parents.
no.
Mm-mm,
Does she
mm-mm.
want to talk about James P. Brown?
No, I think she wants to talk about her experiences.
Does she want to share?
Just, okay, what I'm being told is Dad's kind of piping in over here. Quit asking the question. Close your eyes and let it come in.
Okay.
Invite Hester in to download all the information she wants to. What does she want to talk about?
Hester.
Oh, there goes. Yeah, you've got keep your eyes closed. The light's responding. I'm just telling you.
Hester comes from. Feel free to download all the information. Let me know directly into my.
Whoa, big light flashes. She's communicating. Oh, this is so cool. I'm getting goosebumps.
She want to talk about Elizabeth?
Right before you opened your eyes, her energy retracted back. Do you want to talk about Elizabeth? Yes, she does want to talk about Elizabeth. You want to tell us about your relationship with your sister and what happened with James? I'm getting yes on this end. Yeah, yeah. She wants to talk about that. So yes. Do you want Susie to close her eyes again and allow you to talk to her mind? So we said download. I don't think download is something that she understands, but Dad is like, she'll just talk to her, is what Dad's getting. So it's good that he's here because he's actually helping all this. So go ahead and close your eyes. She's going to feed you information. And just as soon as I said that, keep your eyes closed. The light came up and it's coming up again. It's almost like the old AOL sound coming through.
Ask her if Elizabeth was afraid of James P.
Hester and Helms, go ahead and enter the God space here with Dad, just so I have you both in my space too. Okay, thank you. Was Elizabeth, your sister, afraid of James P. Brown? Yes.
Did did James try to undermine Elizabeth with her own husband,
Yes.
trying to sell the story that craziness ran in the family and he couldn't believe anything that Elizabeth said?
To the point where her and her husband had problems, yes. Did Elizabeth's marriage improve after you moved away? Yes. She's okay. So I now I think I understand, Hester. Yeah, that's what I'm getting, the positive. Okay, so thank you. I am getting the reason she needs to talk about Amelia and about her sister is that these were other people who saw him for what he was. And I got the instant message of you in front of my house on that day. Remember when the cops came? When
Oh,
Peck
yeah.
was, getting ready to destroy property because he was getting his way. That's what I'm getting. He's a PH. He's a PH. And these other are witnesses to his actions. I hear in my dad, as opposed to your dad, is saying Elizabeth is to Hester what you are to me.
Did Elizabeth want to move away?
Elizabeth wanted to move away. I keep getting yes, she did, but Hester did not want her to go. I feel like Hester begged her to stay because Elizabeth is the only one hearing her at this time.
Yeah.
You know, nobody believes me. And Elizabeth feels to me that she's got a little bit of, yes, she wants to get away. She wants to get as far away as she can because one, her marriage is important to her. Two, he's driving a wedge between he and her husband. But the thing that draws her back is her sister's safety. She doesn't know what's going to happen to her if she leaves. She feels very protective of Hester, very protective. I don't know who's older.
I think
They must
Elizabeth,
be really close in age.
I think Elizabeth is just a handful of years older.
Okay. She's really was really concerned, but she was so afraid of him and so afraid of where he would take her husband that she worried, when he was trying to. This is an interesting dynamic. So, this is what's coming to me as it's flowing in. It's almost like that moment when Hester and Elizabeth are having this hot beverage and they're confining in each other and they're having their little giggle moment, right? And he walks in on him, but he assumes, James, that they're talking about him and they're not. And so this is where James, I feel, makes the decision that he's got to separate these two. They're too close. And so, how best to do that? I think it took a little bit of time, but I think what he did was he found out about more land. There's more, I keep hearing more land, more land. He takes it to his brother in law and he says, Looky, if I were in your situation, I would probably do this. Where he's like, Yeah, 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 that sounds like a good idea. So, by the time this all transpires, it feels to me as if Elizabeth is like, God, yes, get me away from this. Because in the meantime, he has been chirping in her husband's ear that craziness runs in the family. If you haven't seen it with Elizabeth yet, you better watch for it because his goal, his only goal at this point, is to keep those two apart. And he'll go to any lengths to keep them apart. Well, in the meantime, she sees, I think it's escalating on Hester's part. She sees the black eyes. She sees the wounded arm. She knows that it's because he beats her that she's in this condition. And so she's very scared for her. But at the same time, she's trying to survive herself. Where's she going to go if her marriage falls apart?
Right, right.
It's a tough thing. I feel both women are highly conflicted because again, Hester wants her sister to be safe, but I'm letting you go at my own peril. My own, you are my lifeline to
Yeah,
sanity.
yeah, yep. I wanted to check something on Ancestry. Where I need to be. According to the birthdays we have, they're like a year apart. Elizabeth and Hester.
Yeah, I felt like they're really close together.
Okay. As just out of curiosity, Elizabeth's first husband, Francis Marion Walchel,
Mhm.
die.
I'm sorry.
How did he die? Elizabeth,
Um, Elizabeth's husband, Hester, can you tell me how your brother-in-law, Elizabeth's husband's passed away?
her first husband.
First husband. Okay, go ahead and tell me. Go ahead and give me the message. I'll allow the pendulum to go. Give me the message. How did Elizabeth's first husband, Mr. Welchel, pass away? Okay. Interesting. Fall.
Was James P. around when it happened?
Was James P. around when Elizabeth's husband fell? No.
Okay.
Although it made a better story if he
Admit. Yeah. What
threw.
was Elizabeth's second husband more easily manipulated than her first?
No.
No. Okay.
Dad.
Oh,
Everybody's easily manipulated.
right. Especially by someone who's good at it.
Yeah.
Okay. She was married in 33. Charles.
Were you still living with James P. Brown in 1833? No.
Well, that makes perfect sense because that's when that deed is that,
Really?
that has Amelia's name on it. Can you ask her where she was in 1850?
Can you tell me where were you in 1850? All right. Can you give me were you in Hamilton County in 1850? No. Were you in Hancock County? She keeps going back to Hancock County in 1850.
Was she living with John, her son
Are
John?
you are you living with your son John? Are you living with your son Henderson? John,
Is she living with her son John or her brother John?
are you living with your brother John? No. Are you living with your son John? Yes.
Okay.
Can you give me the month you passed away in? Go ahead and show me on the map, please. What is the number of the month you passed away in? I feel like she's settling on February 1850.
So it was in 1850.
Mhm. Let me confirm it. Hester, did you die? Did you exit your earth body in the year 1850? February 1850? Dad, can you confirm this? February 1850 is what I get from both of them.
Where she's not showing up on the census anywhere.
Could be why. It's too early.
So she died before James P. did then.
Yes. She's wanting to say something else. Close your eyes and let it come in. That is so cool. When you do that, the light just brightens.
Her sister-in-law or her,
Look,
her
she's done. Go back.
yeah, her stepmom, Nancy.
Mhm. Go ahead.
Um, she was a widow of a Rutherford, is that correct?
I'm getting yes.
And she'd give us her maiden name?
Can you give, wait a minute. I'm getting something else here.
Mm.
Was Amelia related to your stepmother, the Rutherford? So there is a connection.
Right. I think
Yeah.
we,
Yeah, we established that. Okay, so what's the next question? Because I mean, it's I had to get that out.
uh, Nancy Rutherford Helms, maiden name.
Was Nancy Helms a maiden name
No,
or Nancy Rutherford a maiden name?
no. Who was she before she married the Rutherford?
Can you give me a name? Go ahead. Spell it out, please. What was Nancy's maiden name before she got married? Apple?
Apple.
Apple.
Was she related to?
Were you related to Amelia Apple? Was Nancy and Amelia related? Were they sisters? No, they're done.
They were related by
Were
marriage.
they cousins? They're cousins.
Okay. So Mary Apple Pickle, was Nancy related to Mary Apple Pickle?
What?
Was she related to Mary Apple Pickle, James P.'s third wife, third partner?
Yes, they're all connected. And Dad's telling me that too. They're all connected. That's how he was able, like big family, cousins and whatnot. Everybody knew each other.
Right. Yeah. Hester's relationship with her sister Mary Ann.
Can you tell us about your relationship with your sister, Mary Ann? Did you have a close relationship with your sister, Mary Ann? They were not close.
Oil and water?
It's not that. I don't know what it is.
Was it because Mary Ann's husband was a friend of James P. Brown?
It could be why. I think she probably took the side of James P. Brown. And that kind of that makes sense because now that's another reinforcement. Look, her sister even knows she's crazy. Look at that.
Yeah.
There was some jealousy there. I'm hearing jealousy.
Hmm.
Marianne, there was some jealousy. I think Hester was the pretty one. Is that right? Hester was considered the pretty one between her and Marianne. Yeah, people liked her more. There was a natural gravity. So when you're saying is there some jealousy, there's jealousy more than oil and water. It's more jealousy going on. So Marianne, when she had an opportunity, look at the light glow.
Mhm.
When she had an opportunity to see faults in her sister, she would.
And she capitalized on them.
Mm-hmm. And that reinforced the narrative of James P. So they all got along really well.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think George Abney's um, Revolutionary War pension application, James P. Brown was one of the people that signed or gave testimony to, yes, he knew he had served in the Revolution. He met him in, I think, about 1812 and had known him a long time and could testify to his character and that kind of thing.
Was Nancy Rutherford, was her maiden name Apple? Yes. Was her maiden name Abney? No, it was Apple. Okay. I just want to make sure that I wasn't rushing it.
Okay. She was married to George Abney's son. Mary Ann.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did Hester have a younger brother named Jacob?
Hester Ann Helms Brown, did you have a younger brother named Jacob Helms? Did you have a younger brother named Jacob Helms? Yes.
Was he named after your grandfather?
Was he named after your grandfather? Yes.
So your father, John's father, was Jacob Helms.
Coming in as yes.
Did Jacob Helms marry her brother, Jacob?
Did your brother Jacob Helms marry? Yes. Did he marry an apple?
Or Rutherford?
For a Rutherford? No.
Okay. Did he move away from Indiana?
Did Jacob Helms, your brother, move away from Indiana? No.
Okay. Can you tell me where he's buried?
Can you tell us where your brother John Helms is buried?
Mhm.
Dad, can you tell us where her brother John is buried?
Brother Jacob.
Oh, can you tell us where her brother Jacob Helms is buried? Hester, can you tell us where your brother Jacob is buried? Okay, she can't. All right, but Dad, can you tell us where her brother Jacob Helms is buried? Okay, great. Go ahead. Go ahead and give me the name of the cemetery. Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Mount Zion.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dad. I can't wait till it's warm enough. I wish it was warm enough right now. We could go out with our little metal rods and start pucking, down where we think headstones might be,
Yeah.
because it can't be that deep,
Well,
right?
no.
And we could just sit there and act like we're cleaning away a headstone by scraping it away.
Will be.
Okay.
Does Hester feel responsible for her son Job's decline?
Okay. She went dead straight.
Hmm. Hmm.
Ask it again. Maybe change how you ask the question.
Hester Ann Helms, do you feel that if you had lived in the house with your son Job as he was raised, if he would have had a better end? Hmm. She said
All
no.
right. Okay. So, Dad, can you step forward, please? Let's talk to Dad. All right, Dad. Now we're going to have you check in with the records, the infinite mind, whatever you want to call it. Can you answer Susie's question about son Job? Hester's son Job? Okay. Does Hester blame herself for, go ahead and just ask the question. I don't want to rephrase it. I'll get it wrong because there's a lot of energy flowing through me right now.
All right. Does Hester feel that her absence when Job was growing up made him have more problems as an adult?
Dad's saying yes. And that's a free flowing yes too. That's not a I resist telling you. All right, stop the pendulum, please. Thank you. It's interesting when it just stops, just like dead. You see it shaking?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a vibration.
Mm-hmm. I can. Does Hester have a direction she wants us to ask her questions? Hmm.
Yes.
Is it about her siblings? No. Is it about her children? No. Is it about her parents? Is it about James P? Hmm. Is
Is it
it
about her? Is it about her suffering? She wants to tell you about her suffering. I feel like, let me ask the question. Hester, let me ask you this question. Are you trying to set the record straight so your descendants know that you involuntarily left your children? See, I think it sort of came down the pike, a story that was untrue, and she's trying to set the record straight. She feels like she did everything she could to get her children back. Look at the light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
She wants her, it's most important that her family knows that she was not the one who was crazy and to walk away. She
Yeah.
fought as
Yeah.
best as she could in the environment she was in.
Yes, and
And
she,
at the end was so defeated and broken, and that he had taken everything. And everybody viewed him as if he was the normal one. And he was the one who was the wicked one. I keep hearing he was the wicked, wicked one. It's important her descendants know that her story isn't to be told from a place of vanity as much as I did all I could to get them back. And in
she
the end was too broken.
didn't want anyone to think that she abandoned her children.
Right, right, right. Her abandonment of the children was completely against her will.
Yeah.
She has more to say to you about some of the things that he did to her.
No.
So go ahead and let it come in.
Did he humiliate her in public in front of her family?
Oh, that's affirmative. Every chance he got to affirm, like, see, I told you she was batshit crazy.
Mm-hmm. Did he provoke her
Hmm.
into acting in ways that made
Yes. Yeah.
her in ill light?
Hmm. He even got the children turned against her.
I get the feeling she couldn't go anywhere and be seen by anyone because of the shame.
Mhm.
It was so humiliating and so much shame that everybody viewed her in a way that she could not refute.
Absolutely. And she said, and I even put those words in his mouth. So, for example, that first time she gets hit, oh, I fell.
Right,
Yeah. So she goes, everything that he did to me later, I put in his mouth to use against me.
right. Because she'd already made excuses for him to people.
Yes.
And no one would believe it.
I also get a sense that he would move stuff around and she would question her sanity.
What did I say yesterday? Gaslighting.
Oh, that's right, you did. Yeah.
What we term now as
Mm-hmm.
gaslighting.
Mm-hmm. He had her always, you
Oh,
know, doing things to have her question herself.
mhm. Yep.
And it also played, it just showed her family, their children, anybody who would listen. I also feel that many of the family members over time, when it was too late for her, they began to, I think it was after when Mary came in, they're all crazy. Did people stop and go,
What's the common denominator here?
mm-hmm. Yeah. So I do feel later in life, the children begin to ask the question, but I don't know that they all got there. I think John probably got there a little bit more than the rest. But I feel Henderson witnessed a lot of it.
Probably.
I still feel her closer to Henderson, even though she's showing us that she was in John's home. I feel like she's closer emotionally to Henderson.
Yeah, it could be because Henderson's house was full at the time. Because
Ah,
he also had his mother-in-law was there, plus his
mm, yeah, well, that's a full house.
yeah.
Yeah, she's really communicating to you when you start pondering and allowing it in. That light burst. Oh, wow.
Yeah, there were things he told the kids that made them so they didn't trust her.
Oh, absolutely.
No.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's a big confirmation. Big confirmation. I feel like she's remained earthbound because she's for this period of time, she has been working to get the family to know she was not crazy. She was depleted. She was worn down. She was ill, but she was not insane. And she wanted her children, but her children were told that she didn't even know them or want them. Look, she doesn't even respond to you at church,
Mhm.
even though at the same time he's threatening them.
Yeah. Well, you know, he created a world in which he was the only person that they could trust in their mind,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Father, and your mother's ill.
And look at your Aunt Mary Ann. She sees it too. She grew up. I'm not making this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that goes whoosh. It's almost like you step off with the misstep and you're out of step. the rest of the time.
Yeah.
You know, you can't get back in step no matter how hard you try. There's nowhere to go except off the cliff.
Well, I think the other thing is everybody keeps, and with what you said, I'm thinking everyone keeps changing the rules. Everyone keeps changing the expectation. About the time that she felt like she could get it turned around, something happened that undermined that went back to, I don't know if it was orchestrated by James, that, he sees people are starting to sympathize. So now we have to do something to make sure that doesn't build into anything. I mean, how powerless. I keep, powerless keeps.
Yeah.
Oh, mercy.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm getting massive confirmation on that.
Did the fact that James P. grew up kind of in isolation, do you think that contributed to his this
Yes.
need to control, to
I'm getting no. I know, I mean, that would make logic sense, but I actually feel that there were other members in the Brown family that were very much this way. I'm going to Daniel.
well, there's the question. Were James P. and his uncle Daniel similar in personality?
Most definitely. That's like a massive yes. I mean, when you asked that, it really got swinging. Same. Yeah.
Were they were takers, and anything that went wrong was someone else's fault?
Yes. Everybody always said that James was like Uncle Daniel. It just came to my head that way, and then I'm getting a massive confirmation. Was Daniel considered in his day a handsome man? Very, yes. And everybody liked Daniel. Yes, everybody liked Daniel. But Daniel was in it for himself. You
Yeah.
see that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And James was the same cut of cloth, is what I just heard in my head. James was the same cut of cloth. He would, in fact, people would say he looked more like Daniel and that he acted like Daniel. People would see the mannerisms. Like, I don't know if there was a walk. Was it a walk? Like he walked like his Uncle Daniel. He was more like, it's just like Jake, he's more like you than me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's an interesting thing. I didn't expect to see that today, but it makes sense. He wants to tell you something else. Wow. You close your eyes and we get the massive, like there's a connection happening.
What I kind of think is um, everyone, particularly when they were young and when they first got together, Hester and James P., would look at them and say, with envy, look at them with envy that they were, they were so beautiful together. They were so
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
That what a beautiful family they were going to build. And her theory or her thoughts were, if they only knew what it was like on the inside. It
That
looked
came later. At first, she was like, yeah,
what
she was all in.
there was on the inside.
Yeah. By year five, I keep getting by year five,
Yeah.
he had, right, he didn't hit her before year five. She could see it coming slowly, but year five is pivotal to her. Yeah, everybody was really joyful when they got married. It was celebrated. It was,
Well, I think people for a long time after that, even after year five, when she knew there was something wrong.
yes, what you're saying is, yeah, everybody looked into their world and was envious. And she's like,
It's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you have no idea the nightmare, what goes on behind closed doors. But I feel like she absolutely had to protect that because in her mind, if she didn't, the retribution would be so intense. She had to do all she could to protect the children. Just check out that light.
Yeah. Well, to protect the children and to keep her father from reacting. I think there was a big fear in her
There
that
was, but the children is way up here. So yes,
that's part of protecting the children is if you take their father away, how are we going to live?
right.
I mean,
And she's aware of the rumors he's spreading about her, and she's trying to maneuver in a way to show everybody I'm not crazy. And yet, when you're trying to cover up something, you're living a lie, people can feel it and see it.
mhm, there's something undercurrent there. They're not seeing
And
exactly what it is.
his story makes more sense than hers does.
Yeah.
Especially when you got sister over here chirping. Yeah, she used to do that when we were kids. She used to act that way when we were kids.
And I think part of it too is I think there was a fair amount of isolating her from everybody else, isolating Hester.
Yeah, yeah. He was good at it.
Well, and that's what, that type of personality will do for control is you take away the support system of the other person,
Mm-hmm.
you isolate them,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then you make it look like you're the hero. And the sacrifices that
He stripped everything from me.
Mhm.
And I hear he's even stripped away my grave. Interesting. What does this mean? Dad, should she say that? James P. Brown stripped away everything, including my grave. Does that mean is there a headstone there? Yes, but she's placed in the back,
Mhm.
not with the family. He
Right.
separated me in death, and there's a big confirmation flare. He separated me from my family even in death. Whoa, you'll have to check that out. Look, look.
Yeah.
I didn't know that could get brighter. Sure enough, it did.
Is that one of the reasons
She's
Henderson?
talking to you. She's saying it. She's right now. She's connecting.
I think that's why Henderson didn't give him a stone.
There's your confirmation right there. I feel Henderson was very religious. Does James, Dad, I need to ask you a question. Does James P. Brown have a headstone on his grave? Oh, wow. And I feel like bursting out crying because she told you that, and Dad's confirming. James P. There is no stone on his, there's no marker on his grave. Look. Oh gosh, it just went like there. Oh, she must be talking to you. Holy hell. The connection you're making with her is just growing so phenomenally strong. Now look how it pulls back. Oh, whoa. You gotta watch this video when you get done because my gosh, when you start, when you close your eyes and start, it just illuminates.
It's something that Grandma Beaver passed on from her her understanding of the family, the Scotch Irish. And she always said the Browns were Scotch Irish. She didn't refer to, oh, the Helms were German. So I wonder why the Scotch Irish stuck as important to her.
Because that's her clan. That's what I hear Dad said. That's her clan. She's a Brown.
Yeah, she's not a Helms.
Right. She's a Brown.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like we're a Zen, not a Beaver.
right. Yeah,
Oh, and Dad is also saying she knew more about the Browns than she did about the Helms. The
hmm,
Helms are just hard. I see blooded horses, just, there wasn't a lot of hard playing time. There's good times going on at the Brown house, but the Helms they're about plotting and working, hard work, hard work, hard work.
head down.
No, not a lot of conversations going on. Not like the caddy match in the
Yeah,
Brown family.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, big flares.
Brown family like to tell stories.
Yes. Yep. There's your confirmation again.
That's why they like to get together so much. I think they got together as a group way more than they were very cohesive.
Hmm.
And I don't think the Helms were quite as connected that way.
That's true. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. It's a cultural thing. It's they're that says literally clannish. It
Yeah, literally.
was more I okay, so Grandma Beaver feels like she's here. I feel like she's right behind me. And she has a way more interesting story. The stories were so much more interesting. That's kind of what I get.
Mhm. I think did James P. like to tell stories?
No. Mm-mm.
One did not.
He no as long as it's about glorifying his family, yes.
Okay, well,
About him, no.
Well, that's what I meant. Family,
Yeah,
because that's the only connection there is to,
yeah. No, he liked to talk about how brave his grandfather and his father was. He loved to talk about that.
well, you know what? There was a comment that was made that someone said about um, Jane Brown Porter, James the First
Daughter.
sister, his youngest
Oh
sister,
yeah, 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 yeah.
um, that she was a woman of haughty bearing and extraordinarily proud of her family. So I think that's something that has come down through that family narrative.
Hmm. Yes, definitely strong. Yes, very, very proud of being a Brown. So I'm sort of it. So there's like it's like somebody just opened the door and came in, and I feel like James, born 1834, so Henderson's son is popping in, and I get very proud. Our family created this country. Was oh my goodness, Susie, look, look.
Yeah.
It is a huge sense of pride. Probably why mother was so
Well,
wearing that eagle on her chest, on that sweatshirt.
I mean, and that makes sense because that story is the story that carried through from granddad to telling dad, right? Was that story of,
Or at the dinner table at the holidays, because I heard it.
yeah, the bounty land from the revolution, the pioneering spirit, that meant a lot because that came down. Did we hear a peep about Hester? No.
Mm-mm. No, but if we can find her grave, if she will lead us to her grave, we will get a marker on her grave and people will know her.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Mm,
Hmm.
yes. All you got to do is get us there, Hester. We'll take care of the rest.
We're going to set the record straight.
Well, and the other thing is, I mean, we also heard stories about the Blantons, about Serena and her family.
Hmm.
We heard those. But I think Hester's right. I think she was erased from the family narrative.
Yeah, not only did he separate them in life, she got separated from her family in death.
Mhm.
That's tragic.
Yeah.
James Henderson's son. He
Mhm.
goes, I'm James the little arm.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Did he injure it or something and it never healed and
Never
grew?
healed, right? Or something. It was a little arm. I never even was even thinking about that. It just came out. Just call me James Little Arm. It's just like boom. That was funny.
Or James the Master.
And he's got a sense of humor. He's a good guy. He's got a sense of humor. Henderson's son, James. Just call me James Little Arm.
So James and Serena's land was that land it was near Fortville, right?
Yes, they had that picture of that house
Okay.
was James and Serena's house.
Yeah.
This will be interesting when we finally tap into Serena, because I think she's about ready to chat too.
Oh, I bet she's got stories.
Look at that.
Mhm. Wow.
Sometimes it just flares so bright, it almost hurts the eyes. So, okay, I get it, I get it, I get it. Okay, so she's coming through again and she's like, it's not about vanity. She wants me to make sure I understand that you understand it. It's not about vanity. I want to talk about me. It's not about that. It's about reconnecting with her children and being a part of her children's families
Right.
down the line.
Yes, as part of the family history that counted.
Mm-hmm. Her life mattered.
No, I never once got a sense of vanity.
Mm-mm. I didn't either, but she's wanting me to make sure that to differentiate.
Why?
Huh?
You know why? Because James P. was all about vanity.
Right.
And she
And
didn't,
and I feel like to some degree he's still trying to control the narrative, which
right,
is why he won't answer these questions.
right. And I think that's why she's so cautious about knowing her motivation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Was it the other side of the fallout from a person who was motivated by their own desires, their own, for their own glory, for their own benefit.
Mm-hmm. Your communication with her is getting stronger, by the way. You're going to have to really remember to review this entire video
Well,
because it'll astound you when you're looking down or your eyes are closed, how bright that light gets.
I'm
You
just,
have to share.
no, it's just what keeps coming back is Mount Zion, Mount Zion, Mount Zion. Which,
I know, I know.
oh my God.
Go get our rods.
Well, and I think maybe part of that too is that was their church. So that was also their spiritual connection. I
Mhm.
think maybe there's something to that. And that's where her children continued to be, and one place she knew they were.
Mhm.
and felt like they were safe. In her mind, they were safe when they were there.
That's right.
So, yeah, I don't know. It is fascinating and heartbreaking. But this also makes it, because this always seemed so odd to me that we had so much story in this family, right? That came down through granddad, so much story, about cousins and the great aunts and the massacre at Nickajack. But this James P. and Hester was kind of a dark hole. Did we get stories about them? No, we did not.
I don't think Granddad knew anything.
Well, probably not. No, this was not something people were going to talk about, particularly
Mm-mm.
then. They weren't going to say, well, by the way, I had a grandmother who really lost her mind and, she had to be taken out of the house. And,
Yeah, but I don't even think it even came on his radar to even ask the question.
well, of course not. No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no. And no, it wouldn't have. And
Mm-hmm.
once again, if at some point it did come up in conversation, it's probably a conversation that died quickly because no one wanted to discuss it. And I don't think anybody knew the real details of it that would be able to continue to share it. Because, okay, so, we've got this wife, Amelia, which he had to have married Mary while Hester was still alive if she died in 1850.
Yes, he did. Wait. Dad, come forward, please. Did James E. Brown marry Pickle after Hester Ann Helms died? Was Hester Ann Helms still alive when he married Mary Pickle? Okay, so again, I'm getting no. It's one of those things that's sort of falling down the middle. So you go ahead and ask the question and let's see what we get.
All right.
Because I'm getting two answers.
When James P.
Speaking with fork and tongues here.
When James P. married Mary Pickle, the widow.
Dad, this question is directed to you, please. Are you still here? Okay, are you listening to Susie? Okay, answer Susie's question, please. Go ahead.
Was Hester still living? Was she still alive when James P. married Mary Pickle? No. Okay, that was 1844. So Hester died before 1844 or in 1844. No.
No,
Did he have her declared incompetent and have the marriage annulled?
no. Were there two ceremonies with James P. Brown? I kept hearing two, two, two. So I feel like he's like took up with her and later married her.
Well, they were definitely married in 1844 because there's a record.
I don't know, Susie. I'm just telling you what I get. 222. I don't know what that means.
Well, and her husband, her first husband died in 1842.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. He died in 1842. Did a tree fall on him?
Was James B sitting at the top with a saw?
He was actually, the story I read, he was felling a tree. He was killed.
Mm, okay, so
So did Mary Pickle's children, Mary Pickle and George Pickle's children, come and live with
stop,
James?
stop, stop. I think I got it. I think I got it. Let me bring this in. Dad, go ahead and give me the information, please. All right, now I'm going to ask the question. Okay, I'm going to put it back so you can see the pendulum swing. All right, Dad. So Mary Pickle and James P. Brown have a marriage license in 1844. Is this correct? Was it considered today as an illegal document? Would it be considered an illegal document? Was Hester Ann Helms in her physical body in 1844? Was she in her physical body in 1849? Did Hester Ann Helms leave her physical body in February 1850? Did James P. Brown divorce Hester Ann Helms? Did they technically divorce? So did she was out of the home long enough? Did people consider it no longer legal husband and wife? Was there a period of time that she was separated that they were not considered bound? No, that's not it either. And yet he applied for a license to marry or got a license for marriage
Did he
in
lie?
1844.
They were married in Marion County. Did he lie on the marriage application?
Well, there's your answer.
No. Because they were in Marion County. Did James P., after he married Mary Pickle, move to her farm?
Yeah, we're getting a yes on that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the light's way high. Oh, yeah. Oh, mercy.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You're gonna have to rewatch this, especially when you close your eyes and you sit really still, then you'll see that flare go up. So you moving around is not causing that light flare because when you sit still, it'll whoosh up when that connection gets stronger. Well, I guess it doesn't surprise me he lied.
Yeah. Because see, Mary had young children at that point when they were married. Is that correct?
Yep,
So James P. let his sons farm his land and he went to live on Mary's land.
that's affirmative.
Did Lewis Brown live with them?
Looks like yes.
Hmm. And
Dad, can you tell us who the mother of Lewis Brown is? I know we asked this before. I'm just curious if we're going to get the same answer. Go ahead and spell out her name, please. S A R A, Sarah. So Lewis Brown's mother's first name was Sarah. Can you tell me her last name? M. Oh, same thing, just like yesterday. C. A. Sarah Mock. Was Sarah Mock raped by James P. Brown?
What was Sarah's husband's first name?
What was Sarah's husband's first name, Dad? Can you give the first name of Sarah Mock's husband? Okay, go ahead and spell it out, please. J. O. B. Was his name Job Mock? I'm getting a yes. Did Job and Sarah Mock stay married after the birth of Lewis? Yes.
How was she
Did
sure that was Lewis?
Sarah was she okay with giving away the baby to James? Yes, it disgusted her.
I wonder how she was sure that James was the father.
Can you tell us? Oh, I don't know.
Exactly. How do you,
Doesn't matter.
was she certain James was the father? I'm sure she felt like she was.
She just keeps saying yes.
Was there any way physically that her husband could have been the father of Lewis?
No.
Was Lewis the last child she gave birth to?
Oh, shoot. Guess what? I'm going to have to let you go.
Okay.
I've got another one I've got to do.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me pause this a second. Okay. What was the question?
My last question was Lewis Brown the last child that Sarah gave birth to?
I'm getting no.
Okay.
Was her husband away when she got pregnant with Lewis? So, yeah, I get he was away. That's when James P. took advantage.
Was she forced or was she charmed?
Was Sarah Mock charmed by James P? No, she found him repulsive.
Hmm.
Was she forced? She was forced. It was ugly. I'm telling you, it was ugly.
How old was she?
Okay. She said great. So, um, how old, Dad, can you tell me how old was Sarah Mock when James P attacked her? 3, 31-ish? She despised she okay, so I hear in my head she felt she was carrying the devil's spawn.
Ooh.
She couldn't wait to be unpregnant. Um, I don't know why she didn't try to abort it. I don't, that's not real clear to me. Two wrongs don't make a right. Okay, that got real bright. And so it was the baby was delivered, and I think it was her husband that handed off to somebody else who then took the baby to James.
Did James know it was coming?
Yeah, yeah.
He knew he was going to get this kid, or did they just show up with it?
I get yes on both parts,
Yeah, okay. Yes, they just showed up with it, and yes, he knew.
apparently. Okay, so the handoff I'm seeing is in front of people
Oh, as a point.
as a point in church.
I was going to say, was it at church? So, so he couldn't just,
Worm his way out.
well, or pretend like it didn't happen and pass it
Right,
to somebody else.
right. People believe Sarah had a lot of credibility. That's where he went wrong. It's almost like, yeah, that's where I went wrong. It's like he said that. She had a lot of credibility. And it's like her word, if she said it, people could take it at face value. And she let everybody know. She let everybody know that he attacked her. I feel like for a period of time, the community shunned him. They shunned him. And I think he felt like if he didn't go and say it was the booze that did it, is the booze. He didn't take responsibility. It was the booze. It
Hmm.
was the devil sauce or whatever. Um, I feel like he went and confessed, and I think the reason for that is because it for him to get back on track financially, he could not be ostracized from the community. He is too old by this time to move on. It affected his children. Not that that was affecting him. Did he really care that it affected his children? Not as much as it affected him in such a way that it took revenue. I keep hearing revenue from him. It's all about the money. Yes, he did it. Forgive me. I was drinking. I was so depressed. That's what I'm getting. The light goes, wow.
Had to deal
I'm
with.
so depressed. I had fallen.
Right. He said what he had to.
Right. I think he made quite the show. I actually feel there's tears coming down his cheeks. Dad's showing me that pastor on TV that was crying. He goes, yeah, like that.
Yeah. Tears for show.
Hmm. And then people felt sorry for him because he's been a godly man up until now. And Hester, it was hard. He did all he could.
Right. No.
Look, look,
Mhm,
look.
mhm. Once again, somebody else's fault or something else's fault.
All these conditions led up to that depression, and he was in such a bad way. And
Mhm.
she was being so kind to him at the moment, and his passions just so look at that. His passions just overflew, just went, and he couldn't control himself. And I do see somebody coming in with the baby that is kind of that between the two families. And it's at church service. He's still attending church, even though the community sort of knows he's responsible for this.
Sarah wanted it. She wanted it public.
Mhm. See, that's what got Amelia in trouble too. That's why she got sent away. Because she was like, oh no, you crossed this line. I know this line doesn't need to be crossed. And yet he did. He attacked her. Remember I told you that?
Did he did he did he force her to go or did she just leave and then he came up with this story? Ooh,
I think you already know the answer. Go ahead and give it to me.
I would say she decided she packed up and left, but he had to come up with a plausible story for everyone around them.
Amelia.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Look, how it's even growing with more intensity.
yeah.
Yeah.
That light is just insane. Oh yeah.
Let me tell you about crazy.
Not what I meant. Whoa.
This is how it's getting. The stronger your connection with her in this storyline, that's what happens when you close your eyes.
Hmm. Wow.
And you can sit there and just think about talking to her, and that happens, and you're not moving.
I think Amelia told her she was leaving.
I'm
I
sorry, say again?
think Amelia went and told Hester she was leaving, and she said she was sorry that she had to.
Yes. I feel Hester begging her to stay. Please reconsider. Just try to stay. But at the same time, as she's pleading, have you ever had that emotion where you want something so badly, but at the same time, you can't be asking that?
Yeah, right. Well, because she was trying to protect her children, and
Yes.
her only connection to her children. So yes, she wanted
Yes.
to stay, but she
But
knew
under,
was
but understanding her staying also put her in peril.
right. Right.
She'd do anything for her kids. Hester would do anything for her children.
Well, I hope this is gonna help her. Where she is now.
I'll be working with her. Like I said, I think it'll complete when we can look at this. It'll complete when we can set a headstone for her
Yeah,
and we give her her voice.
yeah. Acknowledge that she was heard.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like when you sit down to write this section of the story, you've kind of got like guidelines, but I
Mhm.
feel like more was going to be layered as you're going through those events.
It always
She's going to be she's going to be right there with you, talking to you, just like Dad says, just like Starlet.
is. Yep.
You're going to feel like you're taking dictation.
I wonder if I need to write this first or work my way to. I think I need to work my way to it. Build the story because I'm going to know more. I'm going to get
Let's
better.
ask Dad. Let's ask Dad. Dad, does Susie need to go ahead and write Hester's section of the story first? You need, you're never going to get any clarity with anybody else until you write this section first and look that like. I feel like it's like the filming of Gone with the Wind. They had to burn Atlanta first before the rest of the story could be told.
Yeah.
Oh, golly, that was an almost complete washout on that screen. Like I said earlier, we are not going to get to the rest of the story until this part's done. She wants to talk. She's here. She's ready.
All
So
right.
it's okay because you know what? You're going to be able to weave it all together.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to start with her, or we'll never get her pulled back enough to do the rest of the story.
Okay. Well, and there, there is something when for me, when I'm writing on the correct path, it feels different than when I'm shoehorning and forcing.
That's why this is going to be a really great American family tale. This is why I said it's the blockbuster, it's the epic. This is why you don't want to write it while you are on contract. It needs to come from you, a story that is inspired. That's how we'll present it. It was inspired by the story we heard as a child,
Yeah.
right? And and that is what's going to make this story epic. It's one of those big novels. It's epic. And if you tried to sell that story first and then write it, it wouldn't have the flavor it's going to have.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I couldn't sell it and then write it. This is
Mhm.
a story that they're going to buy ahead of time.
Right.
There, particularly the way the atmosphere is at the moment.
Right. That I hear it a little change, but right now, yes. Right now, you just need to get the story told. Now, it
Right.
may be that it'll be a book series, that's what they'll come out with. But I keep seeing the book Centennial every time, that really thick book Centennial.
Yeah. It doesn't just,
There's a
it focuses on a full family story, not one character, one set of characters, one window.
it's following a family from Ireland
Right.
across the ocean. You
Yeah.
were starting at Alamance. And you can add that in however you want, but it's got to start with Peggy and William. Somehow, some way. I don't know how you feed it in, if you put it in as the prequel, if you put it in as them telling the story
I
in the
think,
future with grandchildren. I don't know.
I
I
think
don't
what's
know.
going to work best for it to get the continuity, that I'm not going to have to do years of research on hunting stuff down in Northern Ireland. I think it's going to be told starting in the 1770s. But that story is going to have backstory that will be revealed in that time frame.
I think it's fine. As long as, I mean, because it is all about that migration. It's all about that migration.
Line, yeah. And yes. I keep hearing an American Tale, an American Tale. You remember that Disney movie about the mice?
I almost spelled it Tail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't know what else to say. I mean, I was just, it was late. I was just trying to get a channel up. I was just trying to get it. So it's just, something that we could share. I share it with Judy. I share it with Lori. But I tell them not to share it with anybody. This is a book that's going to be written, and we don't want this going out. This is just our story.
Right.
Ours.
Not out before it's time.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So, okay. All right. Well, I'm thinking tomorrow, instead of doing more genealogy and research and all that crap, I'm going to sit down and just try
Take
to,
dictation is what Dad said.
yeah, I'm going to sit down and try to start with this section of it and take it through.
Now, when you have questions about something, let me know. I'll see if I can tune in. If I have time, I will.
Well, and I've got I got my pendulum and
And you're going to have these videos. I'll be loading them in here in a little bit. I've got 3 now for you today.
okay. Okay. All right. I'm not going to touch anymore with my notes. I'm right now.
I think you have enough of her that
Yeah.
you've got enough bones. You're ready to go.
Right. I don't want to get tied up in the minutia.
Minutia.
Yep.
Right. No minutia.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I will let you know how it goes tomorrow. Because I'll know if I'm hitting it. You know it when you know it. It's
What I feel like I need to tell you is when you start typing, throw on a Zoom and record it. And as you got your eyes closed and you're taking dictation, that's going to be an interesting video to watch for you
yeah.
because of what the light does. The light does.
Yeah,
I know. So weird.
I know. Well, you can set this up so you're in
I
your,
know. But then it really sets me off too. So it is.
really freaks me out too. So, all right.
That's it.
That's it.
All right. See you later, sister.
Bye.